Hello and welcome to a slightly different video format if you're familiar with my channel. This video is about repairing a Maytag Whirlpool washing machine. If you have this issue with your washer and you're here because of that, check the description of the video so you can jump to the portion of the video where I talk about the part causing the problem and you don't have to wade through me figuring out how to repair a washing machine. Hope you enjoy. This is a Maytag MVWP576KW washing machine. This unit has a problem that I haven't seen on any other YouTube video or on the internet anywhere. The symptoms were, it's all taken apart now. You see all the parts there on the ground, but the symptoms were this thing screeches when you are in spin mode. It will agitate the clothes just fine, and then as soon as it transitions to spin, it will screech, and if there's nothing in the washer, no clothes, the agitator will rotate quickly and then slow down and rotate quickly and slow down, and kind of the screech changes pitch as it speeds up and slows down. Put it in diagnostic mode. It was setting a DTC or whatever they call it on washing machines, error code or something, for this speed sensor here, which is made into this shift actuator. So tried a new shift actuator just because I didn't think it was gonna fix the problem, because if you test the actual speed sensor, it would pass the test according to the Maytag Whirlpool service manual. But tried it just to see. That didn't work, so got the original shift actuator back here. I'm gonna put that back in. I tore the thing apart just to kind of try to figure out what else it could be. And I came across this right at the end of the teardown. This is the adapter that goes between the output of the gearbox and the bottom of the tub. So the gearbox shaft here, there's the gearbox shaft. It fits on there like that, okay? And then it bolts into, there went the screws, into the inside of the machine. You can look down there while I pick the screws up. Not an expert on washers, not really sure about any of this stuff, but this looks all worn out in there. The splines on the gearbox are also worn out, but this is more worn out and it's cheaper than a gearbox. So I got another one here. Look at that. There's your part number if you need it. Okay. So we're gonna try this replacement to solve the initial concern of the screeching and kind of the intermittent speed on spin and the DTC for the speed sensor. And if that all works, I'll explain why I think we were setting the DTC, if it actually works. If it doesn't work, we're gonna make something work. Not this, but we're gonna make something work. Okay. Welcome back to the Maytag Whirlpool commercial residential unit here that I was working on about a month ago now. It's been working good for that month. The little plastic doodappy part that I showed last time that goes down in the bottom of the tub here fixed the problem. And so why did that plastic part fix it? And I think it's because there's some logic that Whirlpool Maytag isn't saying, it isn't putting in their service information for setting that specific error code. And I think it has to do with how fast it sees the basket or the tub or whatever spin up. So when that plastic part was worn out, the tub wasn't actually moving, the gearbox and motor and everything shot to the moon, and that sensor saw that really fast increase in speed, and that must be criteria for setting that speed sensor code, even though it doesn't say that anywhere in the service information. So I wanted to kind of do a recap, because it was kind of a weird thing that you just couldn't find anything about on the internet, couldn't find anything in Maytag Whirlpool's information, and so now you can find something about it on the internet. Okay, putting this thing back together, I just wanted to kind of show you what I'm doing. I have no idea if it's good or not, but got some wheel bearing grease, wheel bearing grease, and I'm coating this whole shaft in wheel bearing grease because somebody thought it was a good idea to have a solid steel, or rather just a regular plain steel shaft near and in a water environment instead of something that's resistant to rust. So of course that was all rusted up and everything. So coating it with grease, maybe that'll help, maybe it won't. We're gonna put the screws that are like plastic screws or screws for going into plastic back into the plastic tub that has no thread inserts, no nothing. So probably all those will strip out. And yeah, come back to you in a second. We have part number W, a bunch of numbers installed in there, all 6 screws in there, over torqued and stripped out. And then there's like a plastic horseshoe clip that's, there you go, plastic horseshoe clip that has to be hammered back in there to replace your old plastic horseshoe clip that you probably broke getting out. Gearbox is mounted underneath. The black thing in the center of the new part is the gearbox shaft that you saw outside just a second ago. We're gonna start putting stuff back together. We're gonna make up part names. We got boat propeller wannabe, because I don't know what any of this stuff is called. Maybe it's the impeller, but then there's also the other thing that could be the impeller. So that fits in there like that, and then there's this super filthy bolt that could be cleaned, but it's probably just gonna get dirty again. And I'm gonna drop it down in there and hope it goes in the hole, and it didn't. Okay, well, we're screwing the bolt in. This is really, thrilling stuff here. You could be watching all kinds of stuff on the internet, but you chose to come here. I have no clue how they assembled this thing. It does not seem easy to assemble. Alright, so there's probably a torque spec for all this stuff. So we're gonna go for as tight as we can possibly get it. That's good. This is the bottom of the gearbox. Gearbox assembly here. There's a spring. Okay, this thing clips in here. I nearly broke it getting off. Let's see if we can break it putting it back in. Spin it around until it... this thing has to be facing the 2 green screws, because that's where the shift actuator goes. I know that. I think it is poke yoked, because it didn't seem to want to go in before, and now it seems to want to go, so hopefully it only goes in one way. Alright, here goes nothing. Okay. Alright, we got a, okay, spring. Alright, that works. Looking good. Wheel, plastic wheel, because we couldn't afford tiny little things on the side of the plastic wheel to make it a pulley in a commercial unit. Residential commercial unit. Maytag Whirlpool likes to use lots of different sizes. They have 7 bolts holding it all together, it seems like, and every one of them's a different size. So to break this loose, I just hit it really hard with this socket. So we're gonna just hit it really hard with the socket and put it back together. That's a lot of the water in there.
That didn't sound
Yeah, we're gonna go with that's tight. Looks like they put a little blue Loctite on there, so you might put a little bit of Loctite on there yourself if you
or so inclined.
or so, yeah, so inclined and aren't doing it at 10 o'clock. Okay. This is a stretchy belt, which I'll explain in a little bit, but it's like the belts they put on a lot of cars now. There's no tensioner, and it just stretches over the offending pulleys. So there you go, got the stretchy belt. I just stretched it on there. Now I'm gonna torque down these bolts. I just temp started those 2 motor bolts so that the motor's a little loose, so I have a little bit more play in it. Alright, we got a harness. Got the harness. You would think you want something waterproof in a machine that deals with water. Well, I told you this was going to be a different kind of video. Editing this masterpiece, I discovered that the footage ends here, and that would be because I struggled for probably the next 15 minutes trying to figure out where that harness went. The answer's simple. The harness goes where it came off of, so make sure you take a picture of it if you're taking yours apart, and you won't have to struggle like I did. I hope that the last half of this was at least interesting and entertaining, and that the first half was informative if you have this issue with your washer. Thanks for joining me on this slightly different video, and I will catch you next time, probably with a car and not a washing machine. Thank you.